Hey guys, welcome back. Oh yeah, we got a good podcast for you today. I tell you that much. What's new with you? What's new with me? I've been doing a lot. Winter. Tell you what's been doing me is the winter. Cold as shit. And yeah, it's been a good. But you know what? The earth, the ecosystem, the local environmental area around here. Nature. I think it needs it. Everything needs especially in somewhere like the Northeast where I'm broadcasting from. All right, the southeast part of Connecticut on the border of Rhode Island is where we're radioing out from. All right, where we're sending out the broadcast from. And anyway, what I was getting at is like I think this area, plants, animals, these cycles, these generational species that have been in tune with these four seasons, including these deep freezes and these cold winters. A good cold winter seems to be good for things. We got some good snow, so that means we're gonna have some good fresh water. The streams will be full. It's actually pouring rain out there right now. I don't know if you can hear it. We got the metal roof here, and the snow's starting to melt. Thank God. You know what? It's February, late February, and I'm done with it. Let's go. I'm ready for spring. I put out. You know what I did? Me and the bays, my kids. We got the bluebird boxes. We got about 5 or 6 of them this year, in addition to a couple we have, and we set them up, 6 feet high on a post out in the field edge. We got a nice little spot here for it, so they're cool. I'm getting into the birds. I got I got my app, the Merlin ID app. But my God, is that thing fun? If you don't have, today's unofficial sponsor of the podcast is the Merlin ID app, okay, by Cornell. Something like that, I believe. Yeah. Anyway, but what it does is it's a great little app, and you can hit listen. And what it does is it scans all the noises. And I've tried to fool it with recordings and things like that, and it was like, no. But anyway, what it does is it identifies the birds, and it tells you which one is making which noises, and it records it all, and it gives you a picture, and it gives you all this information, and it's just really freaking cool. So I've been doing that. I'm an old man now. Actually, I'm not old. I shouldn't say that. I don't want to be that kind of guy. I'm 40, so it's not old. It's actually young, baby. We're in our prime. It's time to start. It's time to get your shit together, Brad. All right. 40's like the new, let's fucking go. You're going to be a slob, or you're going to be a stud. Yeah. What are you going to do? It's 40 and it's facing you right in the Oh, and I got a new puppy. I forgot to tell you guys, got a new puppy named Reese. Little cutie. My God, he's been my best little bud. And we're moving along really, really well with the training. He's very responsive to me, and we're just got a nice little thing going with the listening. And it's just been great. We adopted him, rescue, whatever you want to call it. He's just a little sweetheart. Oh, he looks like Bonnie, my other dog, for those of you just joining. They probably have some type of genetic, like breed lineage, like a 10% of this and a 26% of that. They both have or something, but they have very similar coat patterns, and they're definitely different, but they're similar. And oh boy, are they best friends right now. So it's been a lot of fun. Bonnie and Reese. And they're great, and that's been really great. And, I'm really excited for the spring, like I've been saying again, I don't know. I don't get seasonal depression, but I just get like seasonal fed the fuck up. As soon as it starts getting wet, just wet and muddy, it's like, all right. But I'll tell you what, it sure is sweet when it shows up. There's a bunch of really great sayings and, clever little word play about the seasons of New England, tough and then fucking sweet and all that good stuff. So I do really enjoy it, Oh yeah, before we get going here, let's open up a lot. We'll take a little quick question, right, from the fans here, from the viewers, from the people like you and I, first time callers, maybe not. Go ahead and send any of your questions, concerns, thoughts, or ideas to layitonbradleone@gmail.com, and I'll give you something back. Promise you that. All right, question today is from Sandy and Mark in New Jersey. It's pork roll. All right, so they're south of, like, at least Morristown. Okay, howdy. Well, no one says howdy in New Jersey, but howdy. Greetings from beautiful Hunterdon County, New Jersey. We moved to this bucolic location. You are the first person in the world, Mark or Sandy, to call New Jersey bucolic. It's the first time I've ever seen that word. Not that I read a lot, but anyway, moving forward, plowing forward here. We moved to this bucolic location about 2 years ago from Portland, Oregon. I love Portland. We would love to try growing a nice big vegetable garden like yours, but there's a problem. There's a herd of deer that live in the woods just behind the property. Do you have any experience with deer proofing a garden? And if so, or even if not, what do you recommend? You know what, Sandy and Mark, you guys are all right. And good luck with your garden. I think the only way to really deer-proof this bad boy is going to be some high fences, okay? And we're talking like 8 foot, okay? If you're thinking, I don't know, what do you guys got out there? Black-tailed deer, all right? White-tail, we're talking these things are jumping 75 feet in the air, all right? They're going to jump over your fucking house, Mark. So no, but all jokes aside, 8-foot fences, barbed wire, electrified, maybe hire someone with a machine gun. Okay, otherwise you're kind of screwed. No, again, all bad jokes aside, I think a high fence would probably be your best bet with a nice little gate there. And again, maybe dig it in. If you do go the fence route, I would put it a foot in the ground too for the whole perimeter, because you might think deer are a problem now. Wait till you get some of your little 4-legged friends that burrow. All right, we're talking woodchucks. Okay, we're talking all kinds of stuff. You know what a woodchuck will do to your garden if it gets in there? I mean, salad bar buffet, okay? So I think a high fence is your best bet. I think it's your only bet, to be honest. Good luck, guys. Keep gardening and don't overwater and take care of your soil. And thanks for calling in. But yes, we got a great guest today, guys. Excited. Joining us, you might know her from Rachel's Good Eats. All right. She's a dietitian. She's got a presence on the social medias. New York Times bestseller in 2023. The High Protein Plate is scheduled for release in March 2026. A little spring baby. Let's welcome to the show, Rachael DeVaux. Well, Rachael, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining.
Oh my gosh, thanks for having me.
Yeah, where you calling in from? Looks pretty lush.
Seattle. So all the rain.
Beautiful. Yeah, no, I love Seattle, man. I've been out there a few times. I have a cousin that lives out there, and I always said
cool.
I don't know what, nobody asked, but like I was if I didn't settle down in the Northeast, I think I would have. It would have been probably the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah. I've been here all my life. Grew up in Seattle.
I was just going to ask you. So you grew up in Seattle. In Seattle, in Seattle?
No, 45 minutes south of Seattle. So it was on a lake. So it was great.
Well, it's probably gorgeous.
Yeah. Love it.
You still got family out there then?
We do, yeah.
And correct me if I'm kids or no?
I have one year and a half boy. Yeah.
Cool.
It's been so fun.
Yeah, right. I got 2 boys. They're 9 and 7.
You do? Oh my gosh.
Yep. 2 kids.
Wow.
And, heck yeah. So now I know you're, I've seen you online, obviously, just with your presence on social media and what you're doing. Being a dietitian, was that something, I mean, obviously you went to school for it, but was that something that you always kind of wanted to do? Or what was that path to becoming that? Or
It's funny, when I grew up, so I was very active. I played sports, soccer and basketball growing up. And I feel like I envisioned myself doing a bunch of different things wellness related, like being a physical therapist and a nutritionist and a chef and a trainer. So I think I kind of had that vision early on, and I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do with it. When it got to high school, I really started to make that direct link between performance and nutrition. And so then started cooking a lot more, and I was just, super passionate about food. So that's when I decided I want to become a dietitian. So I became an RD in 2015 after I went to Oregon State University. And then a year after that, I became a personal trainer. So I always wanted to blend the two.
Right. So in high school, you played competitively sports then. You said basketball and soccer all the way
Hmm.
through?
Soccer through middle school and then basketball through high school.
Cool. What was your position in basketball?
I was just a guard.
Just a guard?
Just a guard. Yeah.
Did you play into college too, or?
No, just high school.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, my
Did you
oldest
play any
son-
sports?
A little bit. I didn't. I kind of stopped at high school. I
Yeah.
played 1 year of football in high school, for better or worse. But yeah, my oldest son now has just got into basketball, and I love it. I was just talking about this before you joined, and it's like he loves it, which is great, and having his team is a really good group of kids, and he's got a great coach that they really know what they're talking about. It's just like a recreational league. He's in fourth grade right now, but it's been the best, and I get choked up watching it. It's like watching like a sad movie on an airplane, in a good way. It's just it just got me choked up. It was just the purest.
Well, so you're not the kind of parent that's yelling the whole time.
Well, I
how
was
are
telling
you in
him
a stance?
get
Okay.
I try not to be. I'm never gonna be that
Okay.
guy, but I do. It's hard to not be you want to see him.
No, I experienced that because my husband played college basketball, and I was definitely that person. The coach knew who I was because I was literally yelling the entire game.
The psycho
just because I
in the
know what's
stands,
happening.
Yeah.
I'm the psycho in the stands, and so I felt like I could coach the team. So
Yeah.
you're hearing my voice the whole time. I don't know how I'm going to be when it comes to my son playing. So the competitive nature will, I'm sure, come out.
You'll probably be surprised. You'll shockingly less, I think. Because it's
Okay.
especially when it's young like that. College, your boyfriend, yeah, fucking yell. You want, what I mean? You're probably pissed. But when it's the kid, when it's a kid and they're just simple things
That's
just
true.
learning how to dribble really well. And some kids are really good, but it's just that young, you don't want to be, especially nowadays, you hear so many horror stories of parents just being complete assholes.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what I mean? And the last thing you want to do is be
Oh,
that
no.
person,
Just being part of a team, I think, is
Yeah.
so beneficial to working with people and social skills, and that you take that through college,
100%.
learning to work. Yeah. being a
learning to
teammate.
work and not be selfish, but then also making mistakes and having everybody and not that no one was ever rude, especially at this stage where my kids sports, but when they make a mistake, that feeling of screwing up or where everyone's, you kind of screwed that up or something, that's valuable too.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, we'll back up. So high school, you graduated, you went to which college did you say, or did you say?
Oregon State.
Oregon State. What is that? What are the
Beavs.
Ducks or something, right?
The Beavs.
Oh, the Beavs? Who are
The
the
Beavers.
Beavers? And who are the Ducks then?
U of O.
Oh, okay.
University of Oregon.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Right. Okay. So you went to the Beavs and sports program there? So you said that's where you really kind of wanted to dive into, because you got into, during high school is where you really kind of got into cooking, you said?
Yeah, so they had a good dietetics program. So that's why I went to Oregon State. So their nutrition program was really great. And through my dietetic internship after I graduated, which all registered dietitians have to do a 9 to 13 month dietetic program, which takes you through a few months in food service and clinical and then community, different rotations. So you get just real world experience. I got to choose my own rotations, which was really great through my didactic program. And so I got to shadow the sports dietitian at Oregon State afterward, which was so fun for me because, again, I love blending the two with nutrition and sports. And so we got to work with the football players and the soccer players for a month while I got a shadow, which was so fun. Then you have to take a rigorous unpaid internship. You pay to do it, of course. Yeah.
Essentially,
And
right.
so, yeah. And yeah,
But
that
let
was
me
9
ask you a
months long
question.
for me.
In that world of internship, because I got into the food media space at when I was about 28 years old, and it was through
Okay.
an internship, which they no longer, the company that hired me It was Bon Appetit magazine, about 10, 12, 13
Cool.
years ago or something. And it was I think he got paid like, I don't know, like $40 or something, like a week or something stupid, like just because for some legality reasons. How did you feel about an internship program? I mean, because a lot of people were bitter about it too.
After I went through it, I was so grateful for it because you get so much, real life experience that you wouldn't have gotten without the internship. So
did it lead to a job?
That's an interesting question because I started my own private practice after it, but I feel like it could have led to a job if I, wanted to work in a clinical setting or a food service setting. I met so many, obviously contacts through it. But yeah, afterward, I started my own private practice, had about 10 clients I was seeing for nutrition. And it was also that time where my food Instagram account was taking off. And so I feel like I was lucky that I kind of got to make that decision right when I started my career if I wanted to go all in on online, which I did, just because I was able to reach, thousands more people versus the 10 clients I was seeing one-on-one.
Right.
And
when did you start getting involved? When did you start with social media? Was it just through food and your information and knowledge? Were you doing this while you were going to school or?
Yeah, I was a senior in college and I just made a food Instagram account, literally just sharing pictures of what I was making in my apartment and what I was taking with me to class. And I would, take pictures and post 1 to 4 times a day. And I didn't miss one single day for 2 years, which is insane to me now. But yeah, the consistency.
Sounds crazy. Were you just filming it by yourself? Like
there was no video back then, obviously. It was just single. I wasn't even posting stories. It was like single photos on the feed.
It was just pictures. I loved I missed that.
Pictures. Let's go back to that. Yeah.
Oh, just it was overhead so food shots.
I can send you some. They were not the best, but I just loved, the aesthetic of making food on a plate look really good and appetizing and just showing people that healthy eating can be simple and just with a handful of ingredients in a college environment.
I think
it grew from there, obviously.
I think it's a great combination of a lot of things. So with nutrition and cooking, so you pretty active then, you working out and stuff and going to the gym, or you even after playing sports and stuff, is it still a pretty active part of your life then? Yeah.
Yeah. At the time in college, I feel like I was probably working out too much, like 7 days a week. And it took a couple of years after college to realize okay, you actually need a couple of rest days in there. Once I started doing that and just really focusing on eating more protein in general, 6 years ago, I really made that direct link. That's when I found, a lot of results from the gym. Just happened so much more.
Well, I mean, I love a good cliche, and one of the best is you are what you eat, and you really do see the effects of it, and I would imagine, listen, I don't really work out too much, or I do some things or whatever, but especially I would imagine when you're playing on a sport, or especially at a high level of one, you would have to. It's like putting bad gas into your engine, right? I mean, you would have to. At some elite level, I mean, everyone must be eating pretty dialed in, right? I'm sure pros have personal dietitians that are.
Well, that's what was fun to see with the sports dietitian. Really what made the light bulb go off in my head. She had a smoothie station. She had turmeric and ground pepper that she was recommending to athletes, for recovery, for anti-inflammatory ingredients. And so I really got to see behind the curtain when it comes to performance.
It's pretty fascinating stuff, and it really is quite a rabbit hole.
Oh, well, it's the biggest rabbit hole. But I feel like my philosophy, I want to simplify things and really just give people the framework and how to build a healthier plate and dialing it back so that nutrition isn't this intimidating, overcomplicated, huge thing. I really want to dial it back and show people that if you could just focus on a couple things, like making protein the backbone of your plate and then focusing on reduced added sugar during your day and focusing on movement, those 3 things to me are a recipe for success.
Yeah, that's a pretty strong foundation there. I wanted to go back real quick. You mentioned when you thought you were probably working out too much, like when you said 7 days a week type of deal. Do you find that young folks often do tend to work out too much, or just people in general?
I mean, you have both sides of the spectrum.
Sure.
But yeah, I do think a lot of people are thinking that they're doing all the right things and, working out really, really hard and overworking their bodies to a point where they're just stressed internally all the time and they're not letting their body rest and recover and actually build lean muscle. So I feel like a lot of the DMs I get are just, what am I doing wrong? I feel like I'm doing everything right. And so when you really boil it down, it's adding more rest in, taking advantage of your sleep, and then it's actually eating more than people are eating.
You said protein forward. Is you mostly meat, or what's your thoughts on types of protein? And do you have preferred, or what?
Yeah, I focus on proteins that support hormones and, muscle, and that really, for me, is animal protein. So that is the basis of most of my meals. I do think supplements are huge when you use them right. So I do use protein powder mostly every day, but I think it's a great tool, in addition to the whole foods that people should be consuming for the majority of their diet.
Do you think the majority of Americans underconsume protein daily?
For 100%.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Most women consume 50 to 60 grams of protein per day. And that's about a good baseline for a healthy individual. That's about half the amount of protein that they should be consuming.
It's like I've heard before, like the rule, you should eat your weight in protein in like grams or something to pounds. Is that true at all?
That's pretty accurate. If you are training and you are focusing on strength-based workouts and resistance training, then I do recommend a gram of protein per pound of body weight.
Well, yeah.
So again, like that is like a big intimidating number when you boil it down to, how much protein that is in your whole day. I think to simplify it for most people, if you can just focus on getting in 25 to 40 grams of protein for each main meal of the day, that makes things a lot easier and more approachable.
But everybody's kind of case by case, right? I mean, like everybody might react a little bit different to certain things or certain diets. Or do you find that working with folks that you kind of have to like tweak everybody a little differently?
Yeah. I mean, I even went through my own list of different diets that I was trying to figure out what worked best for me, like through college. And shortly after college, I, did macro counting. That was way too stressful for me and like just too much time and effort to do that. I did high carb. I did more plant-based eating. And then like 6 years ago, I really focused on high protein and just whole food based diet, which I've pretty much always done. But that's when I've found the most success. But I do feel like for the majority of people, for healthy individuals, if you just focus on eating more high protein and reducing as much added sugar as you can, those two things are going to do so much for you, because the more protein you eat, the more you're naturally going to crowd out other foods, because it's going to satiate you more and keep you full for longer.
Proteins and fats, good fats.
Yeah.
As opposed to sugars and carbohydrates, right? You just kind of burn fast and hot.
Packaged snacks and ultra processed foods. Yeah.
That's just it, man. Calories. Especially with kids too now. And you just, it's scary how much bad food is out there. I mean, most of it, to be honest, especially in school systems, around the country and just everywhere. I mean, like I do pretty good, and like, my wife gives me a hard time because I'm pretty strict on, and listen, I'm not like terrible. The kids, it's not like they can't have candy on Halloween or like pizza a soda at a pizza party or something. But like, you can't eat that shit every day. Like, you know what I mean? Like even like a little bit of it every day is like really bad. I feel like, you know what I mean? Like the more you learn about just what is in a lot of the food in America, unfortunately, it's pretty disturbing.
It's honestly like trash ingredients in so many of kid foods, especially, which is it's such a bummer because
sweet, ultra processed carbohydrates.
Yeah, and they are going out and playing sports and, they need all this energy, but when they're being weighed down by all this added sugar and artificial ingredients and food dyes and all this
Yeah, nothing
shit
good.
ingredients, like you said, it's like, it's nothing good. It's not going to be good for performance or energy levels or their mood, their focus in school. Like, it really impacts so much for all of us.
When it comes to food, what do you think some of the biggest mistakes people make? I mean, outside of just eating processed food and
I think it's being aware of what you're putting in your body. I think that's the number one thing is I think some people just assume because it says like organic or there's like a good, picture on the box or whatever. They just assume that it's healthy. But I think we should just look at the ingredients list a little bit more. And I don't want people to think that they have to diet at all. I don't want to make people think that they have to count calories and macros. I don't do that. I don't recommend that. But I think it's paying attention to what you're actually putting in your body. Is this going to be fuel? Is this going to benefit your body by what you're eating?
Is it food? Right. I mean, I think what you said earlier and a big part of what seems to be, your underlining mantra, right? But I think it is as simple as, and it is nothing new by any means, but it's just eating whole real foods, like just whole foods as much as you can really seems to be kind of the big secret there, I guess what's your like preferred ratio of like protein to other foods? Like, are you eating starches with every meal or vegetable? Like what are you eating, Rachel, every day?
Every meal I have like a balance. And again, what does balance even mean? But I think the core of my plate is protein. And then, a quarter of my plate is going to be starches and complex carbs, potatoes and rice. And, I don't cut that out at all. I think it's so beneficial, especially if you are strength training and, it's fuel for our bodies every day. And then, I'll add healthy fats, love extra virgin olive oil, avocado, olives, nuts, seeds.
What I wanted to ask you too is your thoughts on with seed oils. Do you try to avoid them?
I do. I try to avoid them. I personally and my husband notice a difference when we do, have them. Like if we eat out at restaurants, we do feel, a difference after we consume seed oils. So we do try to avoid them.
Well, they're pretty horrific. I mean, did you ever see how they're made? It's pretty, I mean, just the stuff that's added to them. Like, if you go to like just a run of the mill bullshit fried food place, like what they got in that oil and you shouldn't eat it. I think it's pretty much, it's not for human consumption. It's pretty much like a lubricant at that point, like for real.
It's funny the people that try to stand behind the seed oils and say that there's nothing wrong with it. You can just see that it is the cheapest oil, and that's why restaurants use it. And I just think that when you choose the higher quality oil, you are going to pay a little bit more. But I think that shows you how much better, extra virgin olive oil and avocado oil and those different types of animal fats, like what you're talking about, like how much better.
Well, just real oils, right? What I mean
just
by
real
oils, and just like food, right? Where things that aren't ultra processed, and the way they make canola oil, right, is they would take that rapeseed and they turn it into like this. They burn it into a toxic tar, and then they add all these different chemicals that strip the oil out of the tar, and then they bleach it and filter it, and that's what the end product. I'm probably skipping a few steps in between. But you're ended up with this, what they call canola oil. And I believe anyone listening might want to fact check this. I believe it was invented for like the industrial lubrication industry. And then they, some dickhead with
which
a
is
business,
insane.
Which is insane, which is the foundation of most of the problems in our food system. I find is like some company with some suit figured out a way they could make more money. Right. And like, that's why we're in this problem with all these crazy foods that aren't
they're
really
also
foods.
They're also high in omega-6s, which they aren't inherently inflammatory on their own, but I feel like the ratio that most Americans consume with omega-6 to omega-3 is so out of whack. And I think that's a huge part of, so again, so many problems in our food system. So yeah, it is, again, like we're just eating so many omega-6s in our diet, which
and
is
omega-6 being a bad.
Again, they're not inherently bad on their own, but the ratio that we're eating it at is more inflammatory to the body.
So what are some common omega-6 heavy hitters that folks should try to dodge?
I mean, the number one, like what we're talking about, is seed oils. And that is the number one oil in most packaged items. And when you go out to eat at restaurants,
it's in everything. It's unbelievable how much stuff it's in. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, going back to what you like, do you make your kids lunches for school? I'm curious.
I do,
okay.
And like, listen, it's not always the best thing, you know what I mean? It's not like sometimes I'll get I get the best stuff I can, but like sometimes I'll get like turkey from the supermarket for a sandwich and stuff, like a high end cold cut or something. And I know like cold cuts, and they're not all created equal, but are pretty bad for you, I think, if you eat them all the time. I just saw something. I do make the kids lunches, and I'm very it's a pretty balanced, and I make them breakfast almost every morning. Friday I let them have a school lunch. It's pizza day, and sometimes on Monday, but I try to do it 4 days out of the 5, and then with some healthy snack options and stuff. My one kid's a little picky, but other than that, yeah, I do.
You're younger or older?
My oldest son is the picky one. The youngest is like he's like a sea otter. A kid eats everything. It's unbelievable.
I feel like that's how mine is. He'll try anything, which I'm so happy about. Like month 10, I got him to start eating sardines, and he loves them. Like any tinned fish he loves, which is
cool.
Great because they're just so nutrient dense. But yeah, I haven't got to that phase yet, obviously, in like school lunches and what I'm sending him to school with. So I'm always looking for more ideas, ahead of time. And
yeah, it's tricky. I mean, do you work with a lot of children or no?
No, I don't. Just my own. Just very humbling process. But, he's had, I don't know, I feel like every day is different. But most of the time, he's eager to try anything I make, which is great. And it's actually brought more enjoyment in the kitchen for me. I feel like postpartum, immediately, it was hard for me to obviously have time and want to be in the kitchen and cook and make recipes and meals. And so cooking for him has been so much fun and brought more excitement back into things. And
we've always lived by like, they're kind of just eat what we are eating, like we might we can within, here's the palette of food, we can play within that, but I'm not making like a separate dinner. I'm not trying to go down that rabbit hole.
That's where most parents, I think, can make it more challenging for themselves, is the second they start making the separate dinner. It's like you've just opened the door
sounds
to...
great, Well, I don't want that. Make this, that I think kids, and I've noticed it, and we're all guilty, and I'm definitely not trying to, lecture about parenting or anything like that. But they're smarter than you think, and they'll play you if you let them.
They are the most genius little creatures that just, they know exactly which door to open. And that was one of the best pieces of advice I got is, at least for dinners, don't let the second dinner become a thing. I feel like lunches all usually let him, choose between a few things that we have ready. Sure. But for dinners, it's like we do sit down as a family, and this is the food that's available. You don't have to eat it, but this is what's available right now tonight.
Do you deal with sleep or talk about sleep or apply that to what you study and do, or no? That's kind of its own field.
Yeah, sleep is a huge part. That is.
How much sleep are you running on? What do you try to do? You a big sleeper?
I got a 90 sleep score last night, so I feel actually really good about
Rachel,
that.
what does that mean?
An Oura ring. Do you don't have an Oura ring?
I don't know what an Oura ring. It tells you all. I think I know. It tells you all your biometrics.
Yes. So I've had this for like 2 years, and I love it. I really recommend it. I don't recommend it for fitness or exercise as much, because when I'm lifting weights, I take off my ring, so I don't. Okay. It's not like comfortable to use it when you're lifting weights, and I don't think it's the most accurate device out there for fitness. But I use it for sleep.
So tell me about this 90. What'd you get, a 93?
I think I got a 90. So
what's that mean? You got like good You got good REM sleep. Your heart rate, what's it?
I got an 89. So I got 8 hours and 20 minutes of sleep. I try for 8. That's like my sweet spot.
Morning person?
I could be either. I'm like a hybrid.
Yeah. Okay.
I usually wake up like at 7:15 in the morning. And then REM sleep was 2 hours, deep sleep is an hour. But my resting heart rate's 56.
Is that a good resting heart rate?
Yeah. I actually got if you're at a functional,
I gotta get one of these.
You should get it.
I feel like I'd be looking at it all the time, though. It's like I feel like it's
fascinating. It tells you so many tips too. If you want to like improve your deep sleep, like these are X amount of things you can try. And I'm
probably
found
so
out
unhealthy.
If I wear my blue light blocker glasses at night, like when we're watching TV or if I'm on my phone or computer working before bed, if I wear them while I'm looking at a screen, my deep sleep significantly goes up.
Yeah, blue light's no bueno, man, right? That stuff, it really does. Like if you wake up and look at your phone at like 2 a.m. for like 20 minutes and it fucks you up. It's not good. Yeah.
So I'd be curious to find out your sleep score.
Oh, it's probably not good, Rachel. Sometimes better than others.
Like when you go to bed.
I tend to go to bed a little on the earlier side. I'm kind of a hybrid too. But I kind of go to bed a little on the earlier side and tend to wake up on the earlier side.
Like what does that mean? Give me some numbers.
Like 10:30 and then wake up at 10 o'clock, sometimes earlier, sometimes later.
We're the same.
I can stay, but I'm not trying. My wife, she can stay up till like 2 a.m. and like I'm not trying to do that shit. Yeah.
That'll screw me for the next day.
There's a time and a place, and it's not like every day for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I got maybe I should get an Oura ring. I probably drink too much. It'd probably tell me to stop drinking. Do you consume alcohol, Rachel?
I don't. It's just preference.
Well, tell me about it. It's just bad for you.
Maybe I'll have like one drink a year. I don't know.
Yeah, me too. Well, talk to me like just being what you know about the body and health, and is it? I mean, do you personally just not enjoy it, or you also know just that it's bad for you, or
it just makes me feel like shit the next day, to be honest. And
a glass of wine, you'll feel a difference.
I actually don't like wine.
Or whatever. I'm sorry. What a drink, and you'll tell you're a little off the next day.
Yeah, like one drink will put me to sleep. Like it'll just make me so tired, and
even if you took 2 shots of tequila or just a clean,
college days,
clear spirit, does your body? Doesn't it like kind of break it down as a sugar? Like, is that like getting tired from drinking? Is that because of sugar or because alcohol is a depressant, or probably both?
I mean, it is a toxin. So I think just by me not having it hardly ever, I think when I do have it, it's just, I think it just doesn't react well. And
what's your thoughts on breakfast, Rachel?
I feel like breakfast is the number one meal that people are under eating protein. So again, if you can focus on getting 25 to 40 plus grams of protein in your breakfast, that's going to set you up for success for the rest of the day. And it's
regardless if Tom or Mary are working out or just in general, just normal, everyday,
just in general
people
every day.
Okay. You want big protein breakfast.
Big protein breakfast. I mean, a lot of us are sometimes getting 5 to 15 grams of protein in our breakfast, which it's honestly not doing much at all. So again, 25 to 40 grams is going to be the better option. You're going to be more focused and clear-headed. And honestly, for me, it's like I have more patience when I'm, not hungry throughout the day. And so that's a huge part in me getting enough protein in the morning.
Thoughts on like skipping breakfast or like intermittent fastings?
I feel like my knock on intermittent fasting is you're just missing a main meal where you could be getting protein in. So I feel like people are already struggling with under eating protein. And then if you add in fasting, you're kind of taking away another meal, in the first half of the day that you could be getting a big chunk of your protein in. And then if you are fasting, you're getting to dinner and you're having to get in 80 to 100 grams of protein, theoretically at dinner time because you have all this protein that you haven't eaten throughout the day. So I think just dividing it up and front loading your protein at the beginning of the day is one of my biggest tips for everyone.
Because I see and hear a lot. People eat too much. Just in general, Americans and just people eat too much in general. 3 meals a day is too much. It sounds like you kind of just maybe think that it's not that people are eating too much. Maybe people are just eating too much of the wrong stuff.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are eating more carbs than they should, but carbs also aren't the problem. I think low muscle mass and poor metabolic health are the problem. So if you're lifting and eating enough protein, your body handles carbs very differently because you're just burning more calories at rest when you have more lean muscle.
Mm-hmm. Right. And are you mostly eating, you eat a lot of fish?
Every time I go out, I feel like I order salmon or cod just because I feel like I have a few recipes that I like to make from home with fish, but I don't know. I could be more adventurous with fish at home. For sure.
Yeah, you got some good seafood out by you.
I know. I really do.
So when it comes to, are you doing 3 meals a day then?
Breakfast, and then I'll do like a post-workout smoothie, and then like a later lunch, and then dinner.
What's late?
Usually.
What's late lunch? What's a later lunch? What are we talking about?
Like at 3 p.m.
Oh, God.
Like it typically, well, because I have the smoothie, and that keeps me full for a little.
Well, what are you doing with dinner here? What time are you eating dinner?
Like 7.
Okay. And you're hungry, buddy. Yeah, I guess 3 o'clock, little lunch,
Oh,
7.
Yeah.
So you're doing, what kind of a lunch are we doing?
The late lunch is so simple and easy, but we just always have it in the fridge. My husband just makes it like every other day, is just grass-fed ground beef with siete taco seasoning. And then we just use like masa chips to dip it.
Dude, I love that shit. I'll eat it cold right out of the refrigerator.
Yeah.
Yeah, ground taco meat's great. It's that's like my picky son too. That's one thing. Kids, they'll crush it.
We call it daddy beef just because my husband makes
Daddy's
it.
making it.
So
yeah.
when daddy beef.
Daddy beef.
When Hayes loves it too. Daddy beef. You can take it if you want.
Yeah. No, that's yours.
Yeah.
I'm not worthy. Lunch is it's just something quick and easy. Then you're not doing. It's not like you're not like.
I'm not like an elaborate lunch maker. I'll have like my staples. Like if I need something quick, I'll do like a 5-minute chicken salad. I do love the canned organic chicken breast. And then I'll mix it with like mashed avocado, a spoonful of pesto, salt and pepper, red chili flakes.
Canned chicken. Listen, I'm not lowbrow. Canned food is phenomenal, especially meat. I think canned meats are highly underrated in modern America. But you can get that right at the supermarket?
Yeah. Get it at Whole Foods.
Chicken?
Yep. You can get canned chicken, yeah. Yeah, it's a great high protein.
Is it just like tuna type of deal? Like,
yeah, it's wild. It'll blow your mind. You should try it. But I'll put it on a piece of like sourdough toast, or I'll just use like Simple Mills crackers to dip it in. And it's 5 minutes. And it's high protein. It's great.
Yeah, I love that. Quick little protein snacks are kind of it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like you said, the tin fish too, another really good one. So when you say protein in the morning, you front load that shit, 40 grams. What's that looking like? What do people got to do to get 40? Like, what's that hard boiled egg? Isn't it only like it's not
6.
that much? Yeah, it's not that much, right?
Yeah.
So
if I'm gonna do like an egg based breakfast, it'll be like 3 eggs, an English muffin, avocado on it. And then I like the Teton Waters Ranch.
Wait, hold on.
Beef
Sorry,
sausages.
real quick. So avocado, what? So let's just say you got half an avocado, right? Is that what you're doing? Or are you going full?
No, I'll do half.
You go half. So how much protein do you think's in half of a Haas avocado?
Like 3.
Oh, really?
3 grams. Yeah.
I always think eggs would have more than they do.
I know. So 3 eggs, you're getting 18 grams of protein.
Okay, that's not bad.
Then
and then you throw your little
English
sausage
muffin.
on there.
Sausage is
What's
like
that?
9 to 10 grams.
Are we talking patties, links? What are these little mammer jammers?
I do the Teton Waters Ranch, the little links.
So you're doing how many of those? 2, 3, 4, 9?
Probably 2.
2.
Probably 2, realistically.
And
so
what do you
that'll
think
give me
that's
like
got?
9 grams of protein.
So, okay. That's
So
not
9
bad.
grams plus 18 plus 3.
And the English muffin, what? That's not, what's that? What's in there? A gram if
Oh,
you're
yeah.
lucky.
6 grams. I like the Rudy's sourdough English muffins.
It's got
They're not
6 grams in it.
6 grams. It's not like the
Wow.
cleanest on the market, but
all right.
that's probably my go-to English muffin.
That's
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, you're up there right there. That's not bad. I can do that.
Yeah.
I never understood the idea of, and again, I'm not like the fun police or anything. And, in moderation, it's great. But like, what a horrible breakfast, like pancakes and French toast and like muffins are, right? It's just like eating is that not, it's got to be like the worst thing to start your day with.
The conventional versions, yes, I will say. I make like a pancake for Hayes and I double batch it so he has it for 2 weeks. And in that one, I blend cottage cheese, eggs, oats, cinnamon, vanilla
No, that's
extract.
not what I'm talking about.
Then
That sounds
yes,
delicious.
the conventional versions are the worst because it is just quick carbs with no protein or fat, typically to balance out your blood sugar and to keep your energy stable. So yeah, it's a crash in the morning and it's not going to keep you full. And it's usually straight sugar.
Talk to me a little bit about those little pancake numbers you were just talking about before I cut you off. You were putting what in there now?
It's the recipes on my blog, but it's cottage cheese, eggs, rolled oats, cinnamon, vanilla extract, baking powder. And I think that's it. And you can add like hemp seeds if you want to for omegas and
sorry, no
and
flour, no gluten, and no flour.
No flour. The rolled oats turns into the
binding.
flour that you need in there, and then I blend it in a blender, and then use ghee in the pan and make pancakes and freeze half the batch, and
Big
they
fan
last
of
for. He
freezing
just
them.
has a pancake. Yeah, huge fan. Love batch cooking. I'm not like a huge meal prepper, but I love to like double batch whatever I'm making to make extras. And then it just, helps you in the future, which is so nice.
So yeah, I dabble a little bit with the pancakes myself too, where we do like you said, adding different things to them, using different grains. I like the idea of adding the cottage cheese. I'll try. Would you say, where can folks find that recipe? You mentioned you have a blog there.
Yeah, rachelsgoodeats.com.
rachelsgoodeats.com. And what's that? Is just search pancakes or what? How do we find that bad boy?
It's under the toddler tab, but you can also just search pancakes.
Okay. And I know you have you wrote a book a couple of years ago, right? New York Times bestseller. Congratulations. And correct me if I'm wrong, you have a new book coming out pretty soon, right?
New book called The High Protein Plate comes out on March 3rd.
Yeah, heck yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
How do you enjoy the book making process?
Yeah, except this time was a little curveball because I was about 8 months pregnant when I started and then tested majority of the recipes when I was like 3 to 5 months postpartum, which was,
Fun.
a little challenging, but
Yeah, wow.
figured out a way to make it. And I'm so proud of these recipes. And I feel like I was in the mindset of being a new mom when I was making the recipes. And so I wanted it to be family friendly and convenient. I based the chapters on that. There's 30-minute meals, there's one pan, one pot, slow cooker, soups, salads, breakfast, smoothies, desserts. So
Cool.
It's basically giving people recipes for every meal of the day.
I love how you kind of are making healthy food that's approachable and delicious, and like you said, when you got into social media, you really liked making things that were nice to the eye, right?
Visually appealing. Yeah.
Visually appealing. Thank you. And it's very important because you do eat with your eyes first, and people really it tends to be a struggle for a lot. So I think you help people more than you think with stuff like that.
Well, thanks. Yeah. I don't want healthy eating to feel like you have to eat plain chicken breasts and broccoli every meal. Like I want it to be fun and enjoyable and something you keep coming back to make it more sustainable.
Right, yeah. Is when, so you said the book's out when again? March
3rd.
Right. So is pre-sale now? Is that a thing or?
Yeah. Pre-order. Every
Pre-order.
major retailer, Target, Barnes & Noble, Amazon.
All the places. Check it out.
Yeah.
And you're on social media, right? You're on Instagram, all the stuff.
Instagram at Rachel's Good Eats and my website.
Well, thank you, Rachel, for your time and for joining. And it's been great chatting with you. But before I forget, I just have a couple of little quick questions that I write down that I forget throughout the our chat there. When you first started cooking, what was like do you recall like how I still recall mine kind of, but like when it clicked, you're like, oh, I really like. Did you have like your first dish, like your first signature dish, like your ace in the pocket?
Tacos of any form is just still true to me and true to myself. I love tacos in any form.
I love that. Good answer. Tacos are wonderful and a great way to use leftovers. Like you said, if you're batch cooking, you can make a taco just about with anything.
In any way. Yeah, with anything.
Like that. Are you a coffee gal?
Oh, yeah.
Talk to me about that. All right, hold on. Do you use a creamer?
I use, if I'm not making my homemade cashew milk, then I love to get the Elmhurst coconut cashew milk. Have you heard of it?
I have not.
It's like 3 ingredients.
Delightful.
It's coconut cream, cashews, and water and sea salt. So it's like the basics, but it's so good. So that is essentially my creamer.
Last meal, all right. The gig's up, Rachel. It's you're off to the pearly gates. Last meal. What do we want?
I have thought about this. I would have.
What do you mean you thought about this a lot? Is something you think about?
I do.
Okay, go on.
I do think about my last meal. It would be. Have you heard of Mother Mash in London? They do like mini pot pies.
Oh, I like this.
Phenomenal. It's a pot pie. You're getting peas on the side. You're getting mashed potatoes.
Get like 10 of them.
It's the most incredible meal. Top 5 I've ever had. And then I'm going to end it with dessert. It's going to be a deconstructed cheesecake with goat's milk cheese. I had it in Greece on our honeymoon, and it was like the best dessert I've ever had.
Yeah, that sounds delicious. You might as well finish it off with that martini or that margarita, because tomorrow you're not going to have to worry about.
That's actually a good. Okay, spicy marg on the side.
Spicy marg. Why the hell not? Rachel, thank you again. And I look forward to seeing your book this spring, and best of luck to it. I'm sure it's going to be a freaking awesome one and a great. You doing a little tour or anything? Got anything planned?
I am. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
I'm so excited. In March starts. There's like 7 cities, hitting them all.
Oh, cool. You got them on the website?
Yeah. I do. Yep. My cookbook tour is on the blog.
Oh, I love that. Well, Rachel, thank you again. And chat soon.
Thank you.
This episode was produced by Brad Leone and Carolyn Gagnon in partnership with Studio 71. It was edited by Kate Brunotts with music by Harrison Menzel.